It's official. More than half of all British women are overweight. 1 in 5 are officially obese. And big girls everywhere are treated as outcasts. Ugly, unimportant, unattractive. Well, not quite everywhere. Because there's a secret world where bigger really is better.
Nobody had ever called me like Candy before, and that felt fantastic.
A place where the letters BBW stands for Big Beautiful Woman.
Big Beautiful Woman, and that's what I am.
And the men just can't get enough.
I just want more of whatever there is.
Who says fat can't be fun?
I know of a few women that are big, that are yet to discover that life is wonderful, that life is brilliant no matter what size you are. There was a whole world of people having fun and not letting their size get in their way.
And for this new breed of belly babes, there's a very different kind of Weight Watcher coming out of the closet, the fat admirer.
At one end of the scale, you've got what they call plumpers. And at the other end of the scale, you've got what they call super-sized BBWs. I prefer them quite a bit bigger than that.
More to cuddle and worship and generally appreciate.
I like women like buses.
And for these big, beautiful women and their fans, there's no doubt that fat is fabulous.
How do I have sex? Often. And with a great deal of fun.
For many years, being a fat woman in a world where thin is in has been a lonely existence. So big women and the men that love them have created a world in their own image. Aided by the internet, the BBW scene is a big, fat revolution. And in the new order, it's not just acceptable to be big, it's essential.
It kind of turned things on its head, really, because what you always considered was bad or ugly, you know, big stomach or big boobs or whatever, suddenly became an asset, a positive.
Most people come across the sites by accident, some by word of mouth, but few can believe just how life-changing it will be. 34-year-old Sue Allen had her doubts when she happened upon an advert for big, beautiful women on her computer.
Looking at the adverts that it was next to, I assumed it was a fetish. There were other adverts which were for different various fetishes and various types of lifestyles, and I assumed it was something very similar to that. So I didn't really want to delve in any kind of realm of wanting to know what it was.
But curiosity got the better of her, and delve she did.
I went into this chat room, and it stunned me. There were so many women in there, and the camaraderie between the women, that was the thing, and I felt immediately at home.
And it isn't just big women who benefit from the BBW explosion. Last year alone, one British BBW site registered nearly 1 million visitors, more than half of which are blokes who used to believe that liking big women was a bit odd.
It's enabled an awful lot of people to go, are you kidding? I'm not just some lonely, sad, weird person. This is normal.
One of these was 26-year-old Tony Martin.
I first discovered that there was other people out there the same as me. Probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I first started going on the internet, and I looked to see what I could find there, and that's when I discovered the whole BBW community. It is like an entire world on its own. Everyone seems to know each other, and like all around the world, from chatting online and from going to different functions.
The parties are at the heart of the BBW scene. Big Girls Night Out is just one of several events held every month where big women from all over the country can party, safe in the knowledge that they probably won't be the fattest person on the dance floor. And if they are, they might just be the most popular.
It's really hard to explain to somebody who is thin how out of place you can feel in a world where everybody seems about half your size. Just to walk into a room and see everybody who looks like you feels fantastic. It's great that people can go somewhere where they know everyone will be their type.
Men look at you and chat you up all night like you were a desirable object. They look at you differently. They look at you like you're attractive. They don't look at you like you're a freak.
The women range in size. There's the size 16-ish plumpers, the big, beautiful women who hover around the 20-stone mark, and then there's the heavyweights, super-sized BBWs who can push 30 stone and beyond. Luckily for the girls, there's just as much variety when it comes to the men.
Men come in all shapes and sizes to these clubs. You know, you get the personal trainers and, you know, people who are really fit and still like a big woman.
It's also a safe hiding place for men who aren't quite ready to come out of their closets.
These are single men, married men, you know, that for whatever reason they might not want it bandied about that they love big women.
You'll get the nice guys and the lecherous guys who would come along just to look at the big women. But I wouldn't say they were the majority, I'd say there were very, very few.
Tony is a regular on the BBW party scene.
I first started going to BBW parties back in 2001, and it was just brilliant. It was like all my Christmases come at once. I was in a nightclub full of BBWs, and I've never looked back since.
He's one of Britain's most eligible chubby chasers, and he's a big hit with the big girls.
I know Tony very well. He's been an admirer for a long time, and he's not shy about saying it.
And nor are some of the other fat admirers on the BBW scene.
You get the 3 Bs. You get the boob men, the belly men, and the bum men.
I quite like the bellies and the thighs.
I suppose belly's a favourite part of the body for me.
The chest, the arms.
I'm a boobs and bum man.
Bit of a breast man as well.
Even the chubby sort of cheeks on the face and everything. It's sort of more to touch and they feel nicer. It's these sort of areas where you can do things where you couldn't with someone else.
The BBW scene is growing fast, but perhaps not fast enough. Whilst meeting big women isn't a problem for men like Tony, meeting new women often is.
It's the same people at every event, and when I attend an event or a party, there's normally a fair few ex-girlfriends there. I'm still amicable with all of them, so there's not really a problem, and everyone tends to get on after things haven't worked out, innit?
But these days, Tony's just looking, not shopping. The scene's most popular playboy recently announced that he's getting hitched, and the BBWs are not impressed.
I think they're gutted. A lot of them broke out in tears. We had to talk a few of them down the roof.
Coming up, the woman who stole Tony's heart. How the BBW scene changed Sue from being a shy, retiring wallflower into a sex bomb. And how to be sexy when you're a size 40.
One of the Basques, a cami top, French knickers.
Small wonder that big women have a problem getting people to see their size as anything other than, well, a problem. Sex sells, and in today's media, sexy equals skinny. But for true fat admirers, sex appeal has less to do with mainstream culture and more to do with Mother Nature.
What you find attractive, I personally believe it's not a conscious decision. My personal way of thinking about it is that it really truly is animal instinct type stuff.
There's a lot of people out there that might be homosexual or might be attracted to just black women or just white women. It's just a personal preference.
But it's not always that simple. Society can be cruel, and it isn't just fat women who are affected by the prickly issue of size acceptance. James is what is known as a closet fat admirer. He's been in a relationship with a supersized BBW for 10 years, but for all that time, he's kept her a secret.
I felt I was different to other people. Basically, I was embarrassed about it, so I wouldn't talk to anybody, so you kind of just hide it away. There were comments made by people. One was the neighbour's children when we were walking in the door. I can't remember the exact words, but it involved, God, look at the size of her, isn't she fat? When I'm feeling insecure about it, it's like, you know, just don't go there.
Hi, what can I do for you?
I didn't introduce her to my friends. I suppressed all my feelings so strongly that I doubt I was even aware that I wasn't going to introduce her to my friends.
Now James's closet love has had enough.
Thank you very much.
The problems I've had around her size have ruined, or potentially ruined, a relationship.
Luckily for the big, beautiful women of Britain, there are some men who aren't afraid to stand up and be counted when it comes to loving it large. Tony is definitely one of them.
Ever since I was a kid, really, I've always sort of fantasised about being with like the sort of biggest sort of women that are about. Obviously, at school they weren't as big as some of my more recent girlfriends, but that must have been when it started out.
Tony, how you doing?
Want a drink?
But until a few years ago, his mates had no idea that the local Jack the Lad was a fat admirer.
When they first find out that I'm attracted to BBWs, it's a bit of a shock to them and I have to explain. But most of my friends and family and people that I've known for years, they're all pretty accepting of it.
I smiled. I smiled, must admit.
You know, it's a bit unusual, but like we say, you know, each to their own. That's what he likes, then we know that now.
It's a bit of a shock, because the young girls you brought in, he's always been, I don't know.
I've never really bought any young girls.
You haven't, have you? Thinking about it now, you ain't it? We thought you all queer, didn't we?
Is that why you started talking to me?
Yeah. That's when you
I was only 7 as well. At first I started going out with the sort of smaller size BBWs and I've gradually worked my way up to SS BBWs.
But Tony wasn't just looking for a supersized girlfriend, he was looking for a supersized soulmate. And he soon realised that there was an even bigger scene in America.
Ooh la 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 la.
There are larger women in America, hands down. You can find supersized women, like of my size. They're not as difficult to find.
Heather organises parties for big women and the men who love them in Boston.
I met Tony online. We became friends. And so I told him about my dances. I'm like, you should totally come. Girls would like you. You're a cute guy, you know? And he's like, well, when's your next big shindig? And I said, well, New Year's is the next time. And he's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna come. He showed up.
For Tony, it was a dream come true. And the Boston babes weren't complaining either.
The English accent goes over really well in America. They was always coming up to the desk, you know, the registration area where I said, so who's the guy with the English accent? He's, you know, he's new, he's cute, fresh meat. So, and he liked it.
18 months ago, Tony met the woman of his dreams, Anna. At over 40 stone, Anna was one of the biggest babes on the Boston scene, but she wasn't always so bubbly. At her heaviest, she had to have a tracheotomy fitted to aid her breathing, and for many years she believed her size would stand in the way of finding a soulmate. But the world of BBW really can turn conventional courtship on its head.
When he came over from England for the New Year's Eve event, I was probably pushing about 560 to 70 pounds. When Tony and I first started getting together, I think it was first and foremost the size that attracted him. Size is always a big thing with FAs. One of the big quotes is the bigger the better. But as we started getting to know each other, he knew me for more than just my size.
Well, after we first met, we started talking on the phone, and then I started going out there a bit more. And in June of last year, we became engaged. I bought the ring over here and took it out there and surprised her with it. She was over the moon and that.
He actually got down on one knee and asked me to marry him, and we're actually going to get married on April 24th of next year.
Their whirlwind romance took the BBW scene by storm.
I was shocked. I was shocked when Tony had said that they were getting married. Not that Anna isn't a nice girl and not that she's not attractive. It's just that there are fat girls everywhere just demanding for attention. And for Tony to be like, well, I really, really like this girl and, you know, I want to marry her and be with her. He must really care about her because he does have all these other opportunities.
But there's something about Anna that's changing. Her weight. Last year, she underwent gastric bypass surgery.
My reasons for having the gastric bypass were basically just for my health issues. It wasn't to become a size 10 or to be thin like everybody else. I wanted to get my health back. I want to get this tube out of my neck.
Since she last saw Tony, she's lost 8 stone. She's no longer the biggest babe in Boston, and that may represent a little problem.
Tony likes big, fat girls, and he doesn't just like chubby girls. Like, if you found him a 300-pound girl and a 600-pound girl in the room, he would make a beeline for the 600-pound girl, and Anna was that girl, but soon she might not be.
Tony will soon be able to see how he feels for himself. He's flying to Boston to see his fiancée for the first time since her surgery. Not all men have to go quite so far to find their belly babes. These days, love can be just a click away. Last year, one BBW dating site devoted entirely to the British scene recorded 9,000 members, and more than half of them were men.
Internet dating is brilliant because it does show you that there are men out there that like big women.
So fat girls can have more fun and get an awful lot of attention, even if some of it's not always welcome.
You get the net pervs.
HNGs, we know them as horny net geeks.
Some of them will just come up with, what are you wearing?
Or the worst one I get is, you're a big woman, how big are your tits?
50H, and if anybody does bras that fit them, let me know.
One of them did ask me if I liked wrestling. Which I thought was quite funny. I don't think I've ever wrestled in my entire life.
It's quite funny because a friend of mine came round to my house yesterday. A letter N has rubbed off my keyboard. He said, why? How's that happened? And I said, well, it's all the invitations I get to view people's webcam. No. You know, do you want to chat with me? No.
But amongst the frogs, there are some Prince Charmings, and even the occasional fairy tale ending.
They say the internet is a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you use it badly. For people like me and other BBWs, it has changed our lives.
Sue Allen is a case in point.
I didn't have any relationships when I was a teenager. I avoided relationships, often going out with my friends and behaving like their mother, making sure that they didn't get too drunk, that they were all seen home safely and all that sort of thing. I would wear very frumpy clothes and sit in the background. So I didn't really have any relationships up until I was about 21.
At the age of 21, Sue started a 9-year relationship with a man who was afraid to admit he liked his women extra large.
We never went out, and therefore we never went to any events that my friends held. We never went to a barbecue, we never went to the pub, we never went to a cinema. I was always going to any of my friends' events on my own or with another close friend who was single. I knew that he didn't want to be seen out in public with me purely because he didn't invite me. I think that the worst ever example of that would be a Christmas party where he paid an ex-girlfriend to go with him rather than invite me. And that was the one time I can remember going home feeling absolutely dreadful.
It wasn't until Sue discovered BBW dating that she found a way to escape her closet relationship and the courage to change herself.
It was astounding. I was getting emails, about 20 a day, and I used to chat to so many different people and started to chat to one person in particular. We chatted for about 3 months, and it all came to a head because one night he actually asked me, are we ever going to meet? I put up on screen, but I'm a fat, ugly troll. And his reply was, do you really think I care what you look like?
For the first time in 30 years, Sue was going out on a date with a man, in public.
I was absolutely petrified. And as I walked towards the pub where I was going to meet him, I was wolf-whistled out of a car. That just gave me the spark I needed. I walked in and his first reaction was, you are not a fat, ugly troll. I was stunned. And I said to my friend that if he really means it, then the old Sue will disappear and the new Sue will turn up. Because of him, I said goodbye to the other guy.
Sue is a very good-looking person. But sometimes the reality of somebody saying you are gorgeous because of your size and your face, it gives you an awful lot of confidence.
Oh, just you and it's bigger, and I'm like, how many cows? Well, I mean, 2 grams worth, I think. I feel right now I have more confidence than any of my friends. In fact, I probably have more confidence than any woman should have. In fact, any person should have, but I'll never go back.
Who's got the biggest bum? I hate to say this, but she's gorgeous. Sue, you're gorgeous, I hate you. And she's got a bigger bum. If that goes out...
You know it will.
No. This isn't for real.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So some women have found a way to love themselves large, and they've discovered a lot of men like them that way. But there's one age-old question the small ads can't answer. What's a girl to wear?
Major dilemma. Should I wear these, but they only go up to a size 10? Or shall I wear these?
Tracy Carr is 36 years old, and for many years, sexy underwear was the last thing on her mind.
I was in a relationship with someone for quite a long time, and he died. After that, I gained quite a lot of extra weight, just through depression, really. Emotionally, I was just in pieces, and I suppose you end up comfort eating. It's kind of a way to somehow make yourself feel better. I mean, it doesn't work, but at the time you think it will, and you end up locked in a sort of downward spiral of feeling worse and then feeling bad because of what you've just done. I went from a size 26 just up and up and up, and I ended up more or less off the scale. I suppose as my self-esteem dropped, men related to me as a friend and as a pal and as someone to have a joke with, and you end up almost asexual. They don't regard you as sexual at all.
All that changed for Tracy when she discovered the BBW scene.
There was a whole world of people having fun and not letting their size get in their way, and suddenly, I suppose, from feeling excluded from all the things that maybe somebody in their 20s or 30s should be doing, it was all there and I could do it, and there was no reason not to join in and be part of it.
But there was still something standing in the way of her own self-confidence. The frocks.
Trying to do sexy is almost impossible. You can do tarty, which is fine in its place, big fan of tarty, but it has to be in its place. Finding something that's sophisticated and sexy is really, really difficult, and your choices are limited.
It's very hard to get clothing in this country which is designed for a big person. There's loads of size 16s and 18s and 20s. When it comes to finding my size, invariably they're not there.
The world for big, beautiful women is still full of crimpling tents, and although it's improving, there's still far too many of them out there. You'd be hard-pressed to find any bloke who likes a woman in a tent dress. The woman's not going to feel sexy, and the bloke's not going to get any idea of the kind of feminine form that he's after. So no, they're hideous. They're hideous.
Manufacturers are losing so much money. We have money to spend. I can't spend it much in this country to buy clothing. I actually get clothing from abroad. So someone else is getting my money.
But that may soon be changing. Coming up, Tracy's in Manchester modelling clothes to help women feel sexy, whatever their size.
It's going to make you look very sexy.
And Tony flies to Boston to see his incredible shrinking fiancé. Tracy Carr has arrived at the fashion shoot which she hopes will change her life, or at the very least, her wardrobe. She's brought close friend and fat admirer Alex with her, and he shares her views on clothes for big women.
Because most of my girlfriends have been big girls, I've noticed over the years that it's only recently that the manufacturers and the designers have started making them less frumpy and more attractive, more figure-forming. I think with the really bigger girls, like your size 34s upwards, it's custom made. I know Tracy makes a lot of her own clothes.
Tracy's modelling a new range for Lady Beware, a catalogue company which aims to prove that what can work for a size 8 can also work for a size 48. Glenn Baird spotted the giant hole in the glamour garment market, and she's arranged for IT consultant Tracy Carr, size 40, to pose alongside page 3 girl Tracy Coleman, size 6.
I'm going to take you through to makeup.
Okay.
And introduce you to the other model. Other model's
Right.
also Tracy.
Yes.
So we're going to have to decide what to call you.
Okay.
I normally call Tracy a stick. So I'll call you dark Tracy and blonde Tracy.
Okay.
Come through.
I've always known Tracy as a relatively confident and outgoing person. I'd like to think that she will feel kind of like girly and sexy.
Hiya. This is Claire.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And this is
Hiya.
Tracy,
Love Tracy.
your counterpart model.
The chance to be a model was like one thing, and then they said, the great news is you're going to be modelling next to a professional. And it's like, oh, God.
And some of your outfits, Tracy, you've got a nice PVC dress to wear. So you'll have to look quite dominant when you're wearing that one.
We're going to do some fun things. One of the outfits I've got is what we call killer frock. This is little Tracy, size 6. And this is Tracy. So we're going to have them in the same outfits. There we have one of the basques that I'm going to put Tracy in. A cami top, French knickers, in satin.
Have you done anything like this before, Tracy?
No, never. I work in IT, so this is all a bit new for me.
Well, I'll give you a few tips on that, but just relax. Don't be nervous.
That's nice.
Sexy, sultry, come to bed
bed with me.
eyes.
God, you just want to be sexy on demand like that. You can't do it.
We'll just go in front of Dark Tracy. You have to
You
think.
can call me Big Tracy, I won't be offended, okay, everybody? You can call me that, I don't mind.
What's your second name?
When I felt bad about myself, if I saw a big woman dressed in something that I wouldn't have the nerve to wear, I would think to myself, you shouldn't be wearing that. Just, you shouldn't.
Bend down a little bit. Just accentuates your boobs a bit.
Yeah, because they need help. I was very nervous getting first sight of the outfits. I didn't see them before I got to try them on, but everybody reassured me that everyone's here to make me look good.
You look like Morecambe and Wise.
And the little one.
Little and large.
3 hours, 6 outfits and 10 rolls of film later, Tracy finally gets to see whether she can carry off sexy in size 40.
All day I've been in and out of outfits and had makeup changes and hair changes, and the whole time there's no real mirrors, and I was judging from other people's reactions. You know, people were saying, oh yeah, definitely.
Hello.
But I didn't really have an idea of how I looked. And seeing myself in the mirror, standing straighter, and I've got my head held high, I couldn't believe that I can look this good. I've never looked so good ever, ever, ever. And I love it.
No, that's not a problem. The clothes that we make their dreams come true. It puts them into things that they never dreamed they would be able to wear, that they didn't have the choice, they didn't have the option to buy. And I hope with Lady Beware we're giving them choice and equality.
Oh. I genuinely think that looks every bit as good on me as it does on Tracy. That's fantastic. Standing next to someone who's paid for being gorgeous is scary, but now I believe that there will be a proportion of men who find me more attractive than her. Once upon a time I wouldn't have believed it, but now I genuinely do.
See how lovely you look when you're laughing?
I couldn't stop giggling, I was having the best time. I can't believe I can feel this good. I feel as happy as I hope I look. I feel fantastic.
Tracy's finally comfortable with her figure. So will Tony feel the same way about Anna's? After years of worrying that she was too big to find a man, Anna now fears she may be getting too small to hold on to the one she's got.
I can't help daydreaming of you.
This is going to be a very big moment for us to see each other. I can't wait to see his expression on his face when he sees me and see what he actually has to say.
Hi, Mom. Yeah, I'm still waiting for him to get here. Yeah, I know.
In the beginning, my concern was, is he still gonna love me for me when I start losing more weight? And I have a fear that Tony might not be attracted to me.
Tony had said to Anna, "Oh, I love your big bottom, it's so fat," or something like that, it's great. And she's like, well, what about when I don't have a big giant bottom anymore? Is he still gonna think I'm sexy?
He'll always ask me, do I wanna be skinny? And I just tell him I don't know what it is to be skinny.
We're out in Boston now. I can't wait to see her. She's lost quite a lot of weight now, about 8 stone, so she's going to look completely different, and it's going to be quite a bit of a shock for her.
My first things that are going to be running through my mind is, what does he think when he sees me? All I know is I'm just very, very excited to see him.
I have heard sweet dreams come true, dreaming of you, dreaming of me too. Can I go now?
I know that I will still be attracted to her. She's never going to be skinny. She might lose about half of her weight, but she'll still be by no means small. And I love her for who she is anyway. So I'm quite happy with her. I'm very happy with her. Don't show that, please.
Tony? I love you.
Tony's challenge is to convince Anna that he'll still love her when she's smaller. But for most fat admirers, the real problem is to convince their ladies that they really do like them large. Carl is in his early 30s, and after having relationships with both thin and fat women, has decided that slim is not for him.
As a rule, larger ladies seem to be a lot more easygoing than thin girls. I suppose my relationships with larger people have lasted a lot longer, quite a bit longer.
But it isn't just the big personalities that true fat admirers like Carl love in their ladies.
Physically, for bigger girls, I'm a sort of boobs and bum man, and there just seems to be sort of so much more of it, so, you know, it's a definite plus for me.
Finding big women sexy is a concept many men and women may find hard to grasp, not least the big women themselves.
You want to put the kettle on?
Yeah, I'll stick the kettle on.
Lisa was 24 when she met Carl and suffering from low self-esteem after the breakdown of her marriage to a man who didn't appreciate her curves at all.
Yeah. You know what I could murder right now?
What's that?
Jam donut.
God, don't. When I broke up with my ex, I didn't like myself very much because of the way he treated me.
Don't chuck that out.
Thank you.
All right.
He used to tell me that I was fat, I was lazy, I didn't do nothing. But with Carl, it was different.
How much of this do you want?
He's really sort of flattering me all the time, and it makes me feel a bit better about myself. Every time they say something, it's sort of, a bit of an ego boost.
Even so, convincing Lisa that his compliments were from the heart was no easy task.
If she asked me, how do I look? I say, oh, you look lovely. And I'd get the old response, you know, oh, no, I don't be silly. For Lisa to actually start taking notice of what I was saying and actually sort of taking on board my comments took, I don't know, quite a while.
It wasn't until Lisa stumbled on a secret website on Carl's internet favourites list that she finally realised he meant every word he said. The website Lisa found was Belly, an internet magazine featuring photos of women who looked fat but felt fantastic.
I believe she felt sort of quite relieved when she found the Belly website on my favourites. I think that was what convinced her I was, genuinely interested in bigger girls rather than stick insects.
For Lisa, discovering that Carl was a true fat admirer was a turning point. For the first time in her life, she realised that her body wasn't something to hide in, but something to take pride in.
Carl gave me a bit of a boost and I said to him, shall I do it? And he said, yeah, go on, send some pictures in, see how you get on. So I did that and it went from there, really. To start off with, I was really nervous because I thought, taking some of my clothes off of the camera, it really was, I thought it was terrifying. But then once I got into it, it was fine. He was saying things, yeah, that's great, that's beautiful, and that's good, you look really good like that, and it made me feel good.
When the pictures first went online, Lisa had about 5 sort of fan emails. It caught us by surprise a little. We were very pleased, you know.
All the compliments I got from admirers on the site and from the guy that took the pictures really did boost my ego. Now, if somebody came to me and said to me, oh, take this and you'll be a size 10 tomorrow, I'll just tell them where to stick it.
Back in Boston, it's Anna's birthday. It's a chance for Anna to get together with some of her BBW friends and for Tony to see what married life with a supersized mate might be like.
When an FA makes a decision to be with a supersized girl, they are in for quite the ride in adjusting their lifestyle to maybe accommodate their mate, absolutely.
Because of Anna's size and her breathing, she has to sleep in a hospital bed that, obviously where the back tips up to help just take the weight off her lungs so she can breathe better.
So unfortunately, he sleeps out on the sofa at night, and I sleep in my room.
But other than that, we lead a perfectly normal sex life.
There are ways to alter your lifestyle in order to enjoy the things that average-sized people do. But as far as being a mate of a supersized woman, yeah, there's definitely more involved. Thanks for coming.
I thought it would be too much, especially on his side. But he treats me with so much respect and love that sometimes I think it's not real.
This is pepperoni, mushroom and onion, bacon, sausage and hamburger, plain, chicken broccoli, and bacon, sausage, ham, white pizza.
Guilt-free pizza is just one of the perks of being a BBW, when bigger is definitely better. And the Boston babes and their boyfriends aren't shy about discussing the other advantages.
There's just nothing like having sex with a fat woman, and you'll never go back. Once you've had a fat woman, you'll never go back.
I'm not really into, feeling bones and things like that. I really like to feel the feeling of flesh and the feeling of weight.
She has parts of her on her body that, skinny women just don't even have. I mean, she has a nice belly, and if you're with a skinny woman, she doesn't even have a belly. So it's kind of it is kind of different.
I got something to shake, and I can jiggle, and I can move my weight around and really feel that it's having an effect.
A chubby chaser's appetite for fat is as big as the woman he loves. But with Anna losing weight at a rate of 2 stone a month, there'll soon be less on the menu for her man.
If I jiggle my belly, he enjoys that. But I'm afraid once this belly starts getting smaller, is he still going to enjoy that? So.
I've told you, you're never going to be skinny, are you? You've already said that. You're going to be.
In a world where women spend billions of pounds to make themselves thinner, the idea that losing weight may mean losing your man seems ridiculous. But that's exactly what these BBWs believe.
Even if she does get smaller, she gets down to 130, 120 pounds.
God, I could never imagine that.
I'd still love her, and that.
See, you're talking all about the love. I'm talking about the sex. This is what I'm talking. If God came down to you and said, all feelings aside, all circumstance aside, do you want to have sex with her or do you want to have sex with her? You see what I'm saying? Bottom line is, I think you will still yearn.
No doubt she means well, but for Tony, it makes no odds.
Happy birthday to you.
Anna may not be able to eat the birthday cake he's brought her, but clearly she's still the one that lights his fire.
Anna, happy birthday
to you.
Coming up, proof, if proof were needed, that size and sex really do go hand in hand. And the ultimate weightlifter's workout for fat admirers. Let's face it, when it comes to good sex, size matters. But when the size in question is the woman's waistline, some people wonder whether big women can even have sex, let alone enjoy it.
We can, we do, and we're probably better at it than a skinny woman.
How do I have sex? Often. And with a great deal of fun.
What's sex? No, don't you dare keep that pin in there.
There is this misconception that you'd have to rewrite the Kama Sutra and put in an extra few pages just for safety alone.
That's rubbish. It's rubbish.
We've never had any trouble having sex.
Yeah. The good Lord did design women to be bred upon even when carrying huge reserves, believe me. Won't quit.
Sex with a larger woman is not sex with a Michelin man or anything, you know. It's not like you're going to be fired across the room. They're not pumped up pneumatically.
I know a few people have said, oh, big people can only do it in this position because the fat gets in the way.
Bellies and bums and boobs can be moved and can be pushed and plushed to the corners, you know, the missionary, doggy style, all the classics and all the popular activities just go on.
It's just limited only by your imagination, really.
Like that.
Size may not be a problem between the sheets, but what about between the hours of 9 to 5? Finding a job when you're over 40 stone isn't easy.
My name is Rocky. From the Bronx, New York. I am about 575 to 580 pounds. I'm 6 foot 4 inches tall. I wear 56 G's, 63 waist, 82 hips, and I'm the biggest, tallest person in my whole family, even going back 3 generations.
For full-time mum Raki, this problem came to a head when her husband died, leaving her with nearly $7,000 worth of debts.
When my husband died, I was put into a bad situation. Couldn't buy no food. I have a daughter. I was basically facing the marshal, knocking on my door, ready to lock my doors up and kick me out. And I said, I need to do something, and I need to do something fast. Hello?
Come in.
Too big to fit the bill in conventional society, it was an unusual opportunity in the world of BBW that turned Raki's fortunes around.
Sorry, I'm late. And I started looking for opportunities on the internet, and then it just kind of hit me, this squashing thing.
The strange art of squashing is unique to the BBW world and does what it says on the can.
I do squashing, which is sitting on someone on a soft surface. Then there's crushing, which is basically the same as squashing, but it's on a hard surface. Ready? Then I have the trampling, where I actually stand and walk on people. Okay, easy, easy, easy. I had one man from England, and he was in the strongest man competition. And he just wanted to know if I could stand on him, how long could he deal with it? I also do lift and carry, where I'll give him piggyback rides, or I'll lift him with my feet, or I'll lift him with my hands, I'll pick him up. Okay, easy, easy.
It's a niche market, but a lucrative one.
My cost is $200 per hour and up. And I'll do anything, but not anything sexual. It's not prostitution.
It's an odd way to earn a living, but for Raki, turning her extra pounds into extra dollars turned her life around.
I was making so much money that I was finally able to pay off that $7,000, to feed my child, to actually buy some clothes. I was finally able to do something more. And squashing is what gave me this money to improve my life. Before I fall on the floor, I give up. I think I've had enough.
It's the last day before Tony flies back to the UK. They've spent the week doing all the things couples do, and a few things they couldn't before Anna's surgery, including planning the big day. For the moment at least, Anna has everything she wants.
It's pretty much like a dream come true. I've always wanted to get married and have a beautiful wedding and wear a beautiful white gown and everything. So this is definitely something that makes me very happy.
Wait till you see this one. All right, here's Anna in a beaded top.
But that day is a long way away, and their journey won't be plain sailing.
She is marrying an FA, and if you were to ask my personal opinion on that, I think it'll be a problem down the line.
Of course, this isn't the finished.
Will they remain married and maybe be a little giving up a little bit for each other? Probably, but will they both be completely happy? I don't think so.
Bigger may well be better for fat admirers, but sometimes size really doesn't matter at all.
I think other people have sort of put ideas into her head, so I think in the back of her mind she's a little bit worried, but she's okay.
Granted, he loves big women. He'll always love big women. And granted, he'll probably look like all men will look at women, but I know that he's mine.
There'll always be arguments for losing weight, and millions of women who want to. But as Britain's average dress size grows ever bigger, so does the world of BBW, as more women realise they really can have their cake and eat it. At last, there's a place where you don't have to be thin to fit in.
The world is full of people who think that if they get thin, they can do all these things and have all these things. And it's there waiting for them now. And I feel so sorry for them. I would love to be able to open everyone's eyes and say, don't wait, don't waste any more time, just do it.